In the heart of Egypt, beneath the ever-watchful eye of the sun god Ra, there lived a humble yet respected couple. Ma'at, a man of great wisdom and integrity, was known throughout the land for his fairness and kindness. His wife Neferet, graceful as the Nile, was beloved for her beauty and gentle nature. Together, they were blessed with 4 children, 2 daughters and 2 sons, each as radiant as the lotus flower that bloomed along the riverbanks. Their eldest daughter Anippe was a reflection of her mother's heart, kind, selfless, and compassionate. Her beauty was not only in her features but in the light of her spirit, which drew people to her. Khepri, the elder son, shared her kindness. He was thoughtful, his actions slow and measured like the calm flow of the Nile. They often spent their days helping those less fortunate, offering food and drink to weary travelers or giving comfort to the sick and lonely. But their siblings, Sekhet and Ammon, were not the same. Sekhet, the younger daughter, was as striking as a desert sunrise, beautiful but harsh. She had inherited the physical beauty of her mother, but none of her warmth. Sekhet was proud, always seeking to elevate herself above others. Her brother, Ammon, was her closest confidant and shared her disdain for those who showed weakness. Though handsome and sharp-witted, Ammon was cold-hearted and his ambition for power knew no bounds. The tension between the 2 pairs of siblings grew daily. Anippe and Khepri's kindness only seemed to fuel Sekhet and Ammon's resentment. One evening, after Anippe had given a poor woman bread at the market, Sekhet cornered her in the courtyard.
Why do you waste your time on such wretches?
Sekhet hissed, her voice dripping with disdain.
What do they offer you in return? Do you think that by feeding every beggar you'll rise to greatness? You are a fool, Anippe, and everyone knows it.
Anippe looked at her sister with soft eyes, undeterred by the sharpness of her words.
Dear sister,
she replied gently,
a heart that gives expects nothing in return. Our father taught us that those with little need our help the most.
Father,
Sekhet spat,
knows nothing of this world. You will learn soon enough that kindness wins you nothing. Strength and ambition, those are the things that will get you ahead.
Ammon, who had been listening nearby, chuckled darkly.
Sekhet is right, sister. You and Khepri can keep feeding the poor and wasting your time. Sekhet and I will rise to greatness, and when we do, you'll wish you had followed our path.
Khepri, standing beside his sister, shook his head.
I would rather be poor with a pure heart than rich with a tainted soul.
Ammon's laughter echoed through the courtyard.
We'll see about that, brother. We'll see.
Not long after this exchange, word spread through the land that the royal advisor to Pharaoh Ramesses, a man named Imhotep, was searching for a wife and an assistant. Imhotep was a man shrouded in mystery. He was wealthy and wise, but no one knew much of his private life. Some said he had the ear of Pharaoh himself, but others whispered that his true loyalty lay elsewhere. It was said that Imhotep sought not just beauty, but a heart as pure as gold. One scorching afternoon, as the 4 siblings traveled to the bustling marketplace, they encountered a beggar, cloaked in tattered rags and leaning on a staff. His voice was weak, but his eyes, though tired, gleamed with hidden knowledge.
Please,
the beggar rasped.
A drink of water for a tired old man.
Sekhet, her nose wrinkled in disgust, waved him off as though he were nothing more than a fly.
Be gone, old man. Your stench is foul, and I have no time for the likes of you.
Ammon sneered beside her.
Do you not know who we are? We are children of Ma'at, soon to be of royal favor. Beg elsewhere.
The beggar lowered his head, his voice soft.
even the greatest of men have known hunger and thirst.
Sekhet's laughter rang out harshly.
I am not a man, old fool, and I shall never know such things.
They turned their backs on the beggar and strutted away, their pride as blinding as the midday sun. But not far behind, Anippe and Khepri approached the old man. Anippe knelt beside him, offering a flask of cool water.
"Drink, good sir,"
she said gently.
"You look weary."
Khepri helped the beggar sit in the shade of a nearby tree.
"Please rest your feet. Take this bread as well."
The old man looked at them both with a smile hidden beneath his weathered features.
Thank you, children. You have shown kindness where others have shown none.
Without another word, the beggar disappeared into the crowd, leaving Anippe and Khepri wondering at his sudden departure. The next morning, messengers from Pharaoh's palace arrived at Ma'at and Neferet's home. Imhotep himself, now clothed in the finest of linens and adorned with gold, stood before the family. His presence was commanding, and even Sekhet and Ammon could not hide their awe.
Ma'at,
Imhotep spoke with authority.
your children were tested yesterday, and only 2 proved worthy. Anippe, with her heart of gold, will become my wife. Khepri, with his wisdom and humility, will serve as my advisor.
Sekhet's face twisted in fury, her beauty marred by jealousy.
This cannot be,
She cried.
I am far more beautiful than Anippe. Why should she have what I deserve?
Imhotep's gaze was cold as he addressed her.
Beauty fades, Sekhet. A heart of kindness endures. You failed the test, as did your brother.
Ammon, seething, clenched his fists.
I am stronger than Khepri, more cunning. You have made a mistake.
Imhotep's eyes narrowed.
Strength without wisdom is nothing, Ammon. You have much to learn.
Years passed, and Anippe lived happily as Imhotep's wife, while Khepri served loyally by his side. The kingdom flourished, but darkness loomed on the horizon. Pharaoh Ramesses refused to heed the warnings of a prophet named Moses, and the land of Egypt was struck by terrible plagues, rivers of blood, swarms of locusts, and darkness that choked the life from the land. Imhotep, though loyal to Pharaoh, knew the truth. He had long worshipped the one true God, the God of Moses, and he could no longer stand by as Egypt suffered. One night, as the final plague approached, he turned to Anippe.
We must leave.
He whispered urgently.
Pharaoh's pride will be the ruin of us all. We must flee the city before it is too late.
Khepri, ever loyal, agreed. Together, the 3 of them, Imhotep, Anippe and Khepri, gathered what they could and left the city, just as the angel of death descended upon Egypt. They watched from a safe distance as the cries of Egypt echoed in the night, the firstborn of the land taken by the hand of God. Pharaoh, broken and defeated, finally let the Israelites go, but the damage was done. Imhotep, Anippe and Khepri settled in a distant land, far from the reach of Pharaoh's power. They lived peacefully, raising their children with the knowledge of the one true God and the lessons they had learned in Egypt. For generations, their descendants told the story of the night the plagues fell upon Egypt and how faith and kindness had saved them. They spoke of a time when the greatest empire in the world had fallen, not to war or conquest, but to the hand of a merciful and just God. And so, the legacy of Ma'at and Neferet's children lived on, a reminder that true greatness comes not from ambition or beauty, but from a heart of goodness and a soul of faith.